Alright, Victorum Gaming fans and Blood Red Skies fans, we are back and we have another unboxing for you guys today. We're going to be taking a look at the Messerschmitt Me262 Squadron for Blood Red Skies, and again, really the first jet or operational jet ever, so it's going to be interesting to see what this bad boy can do in the game. So we'll be right back after we get this open for you. Alright, we are back and we got everything open up for you guys. So as normal, you get a nice cardboard sheet here with all your pilot scale discs, boom chits, etc. And yeah, it's pretty standard. It's in basically every squadron kit. And again, the squadron or the plane markers are double-sided, so you'll get different pilot skills that are all threes on the back. Get a nice little decal sheet, of course the Advantage bases, the models themselves, which are gorgeous. So this is that new Warlord resin. And really a little bit of flash here and there on these, so definitely some cleanup needed, but really nothing is warped, no deformities, and the detail is nice and crisp. So trying to show you guys everything here. So, and a key thing to remember, it feels like, you know, kind of like fine cast from years ago from that other company, but this is a little bit different, and from all the different kits that I've seen that have used this, like, there haven't really been any issues whatsoever. So anybody expecting like the horror stories that, again, people tended to find with fine cast and other similar things, it's just not here. So again, at least in my experience so far, all of these have been great. So, but anyway, you get 6 of these bad boys, and these are just really good looking models. Onto the card itself. So you get the Me262A, which hopefully will give us some of the later alternate versions at some point down the road. But yeah, firepower 3, maneuverability is only 1, so maneuverability is definitely not going to be the strong suit with this guy, but what you're going to use is the ridiculous speed that you get of 11 with a true speed of 540 miles an hour. So, you know, if you do get yourself into trouble, you can just run away. And the plane itself has some other really cool rules with its cards that will really mess with opponents, and will take some getting used to, but if you can work that into some solid tactics, it can be pretty rough for the opponent to try and adapt to it. So it does have 3 traits: Jet 1, Heavy Hitter, and Vulnerable. We'll take a look at those in a second. On the backside, of course, we get a little bit of history. First came in 1944, and one thing that will immediately grab your attention is the cost. The base cost of the plane is 74 points. So a pilot skill 2 plane is going to run you 99 points. So you could get 5 of these in a typical 500-point game. But again, they're all pilot skill 2. So you're definitely going to be outnumbered most of the time here if you want those higher pilot skills or even an ace. So Heavy Hitter, so you get 6 of these, and you know, this has been on multiple planes so far, but basically you play it on a heavy hitter during shooting, a shooting attack made within 3 inches, and you add a firepower dice to the attack, and also, more importantly, any success counts as a critical, so you can start accumulating those boom chits pretty rapidly if the dice are with you. Moving on, then you have a doctrine card here, and again, really to represent that late war and the nature of just how few of these planes were actually around. Fortunately for the Allies, but so you play it during deployment if you're outnumbered, and what it does is all friendly squadrons ignore the first boom chit scored against them. So yeah, really cool there. So if you do have multiple squadrons, and even if your entire list isn't Me262s, that can still work for all your squadrons that you're bringing. So a really neat card there. And then the plane does have 2 more traits, 1 negative, 1 positive, so there is a definite drawback aside from just the base points cost for fielding this very advanced plane. And so basically you play it when the plane is being shot at, and then you increase the firepower of any attack coming at you by 1, just to represent the sort of somewhat fragile nature of that early plane. The engines tended to overheat and weren't really well protected either. So basically any hit to those really tended to blow the plane up. So you have that, but then what is your positive trait? Well, that's the jet rule. So you play that on all jet planes at the beginning of the battle. A jet gains 1 advantage level on activation if there's no enemy within 9 of it. So you get that for free. You don't even have to do a like pilot skill or anything like that to climb for advantage. So that's pretty damn awesome. And again, you can, if you do find yourself surrounded by enemies, you can just use your speed to get away and then just climb for free basically the next turn. And then enemies, here's the kicker too, enemies may only climb for advantage within 9 inches of a jet if they are a later generation jet. Well, there really aren't any just yet. Again, if you're playing Korea, of course, that's a different thing. But as far as the World War II stuff, really, right now, this is it for the moment. So you can use that to really disrupt enemies and keep them from basically getting into advantage states. So and that can really mess up some of their cards and other things too. So yeah, that jet rule is really going to be awesome if you can develop some tactics around that. So, you know, when you need to get away, get your own advantage back, and then hopefully you have enough other jets around still to keep them from trying to get advantage, and then you can basically just do your thing, hopefully get some heavy hitters and get those lucky crits and just start dropping enemies to where then hopefully you're not outnumbered anymore, and then you can just use basically the superior stats of your plane to just deal with people. So coming back to the stats again, though, one thing to mention really quickly too is, yeah, you got fantastic firepower. So even a pilot skill 2 guy is going to be chucking 5 dice. Aces are going to be chucking 8 or more potentially, which is very scary. Again, maneuverability is not going to be the greatest, but again, that's where pilot skill can also come in. But your speed, right? So you're going to have to factor in how far you're going to have to move at a minimum. And so just keep that in mind as you're lining up shots and coming in for like strafing runs and stuff like that. So, you're not always going to be going full on max speed, but you do have to at least go that minimum. So something to keep in mind in dealing with that very high speed stat. So, but all in all, yeah, that is the Me262. We will be picking up the Ace here shortly and giving you guys a video on that as well. But yeah, definitely a cool one to pick up for some late war games in Blood Red Skies, and just really represents a totally different dimension of plane to deal with. So, especially for the allies, and again, if you can get some solid practice with this and get good with it, it's going to be it's definitely some different tactics than the typical prop planes. But if you can make this work for you, it's going to be very scary indeed for the enemy. So, yeah, that basically covers everything for the Me262. And again, this is the A version, so hopefully at some point we will get some of the alternates that did come about towards the end of the war, but very limited numbers, even more limited than the plane itself, the regular one. So, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed our little tour here. And if you could, give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one.